coffee. Oh, flexing. It is. I don't need a gun license in Thailand. You can carry guns, no worries. Anyway, let's get into the coffee one. Last time, while I started drinking coffee again, someone said, Harley, I saw on your Instagram story. If you're not following me on Instagram, check it out. Durianrider on Instagram, and also Natasha's Get Fit with Natasha _ on Instagram. If someone said, I saw you drinking a coffee. Let me just show you something. It wasn't a coffee. It was one of these, which is a Schweppes drink, very, very sweet. It's sweeter than Sprite here now. Sprite in Thailand's gone downhill. Apparently Cambodian Sprite is the go-to now. But the Thai Sprite, I've had a couple since I've been here, and I'm like, something's changed. It's not as sweet as it was last year. Very, very sad. This is sweet. So more sugar than Sprite. Schweppes Manao soda. And I also drink a little bottle. It comes in like a brown bottle. I don't have it here, but it looks like a coffee bottle, but it's not. I haven't had a cup of coffee or coffee since 1999, October 1999. Don't remember the exact day. I remember the exact day. I remember my friend Brooksy. We're bike couriers. He's a bike courier, and he gave me a coffee. You know, he said, "Have this," and okay, and I had it, and I was just racing trucks home, just drafting, just smashing it all the way home, just charged up. Because caffeine works because it causes an adrenaline spike. All right, caffeine is a neurotoxin. It's a neurotoxin. It's because I love drinking coffee for the taste with my friends. It's really cool. Okay, great, but don't be deluded and think it's healthy because it's a neurotoxin. So have it now and then. I'll definitely still have caffeine or stims now and then. Very, very rarely though. But you won't be seeing me in a cafe and drinking coffee. You know, take stuff like that very pharmaceutically. You know, very sparingly. Be very conscious with it. But sitting around after training, drinking coffee, that's probably the dumbest thing any cyclist can do, or runner. You know, when I see runners and cyclists drinking caffeine after training, I'm just like, that's abuse of your own health. So I do not recommend that at all. It just leads to burnout 100% of the time. And the main reason I can get people so fit, so fast, in 1 year, is because I follow a stimulant-free approach. Maybe a couple times a year you can have stims, or a few times, or whatever, but very, very rarely. But if someone's coming from adrenal burnout or eating disorders or stimulant abuse in the past, then they have to do zero stims. You know, pretty much close to zero stims to really heal, because those adrenals get burnt out when we were teenagers. I mean, the shit we used to take as teenagers, man. I don't know about you, but we used to take some shit, and it was just fucked. And it's just that constant adrenaline rush, you know. So that's how caffeine works. Well, understand how the drug works. It works by stimulating adrenaline in the body, because caffeine's a neurotoxin. So it's like, quick, get it out. So it gives you just like emergency sort of feeling. Same as someone putting a gun to your head. You get that adrenaline spike. Let's say you wake up really tired and you're like, I don't need to train today. But someone puts a gun to your head. Ice Cube puts a gun to your head and goes, come on, motherfucker, let's go ride. And you go, oh, let's go. So you get that. And that's why people, what I've noticed, friends, people I've known personally, even in like the Chiang Mai or the Adelaide or whatever, the vegan cycling community, as soon as people start drinking caffeine, 99% of them turn into absolute fuckwits. They turn into these pretentious, wanky fuckwits. It's crazy. It's, oh, you're another one succumbed to the pretentious cafe culture. Now, this is most people, not all of them, but most people turn into these wanky, cliquey, pretentious, road shoe wearing knock-knocks, you know, just yeah. And it's the caffeine mostly. Also, I mean, it's their personality, but it's crazy. So I'd strongly disagree with the caffeine consumption after training. If you're going to have it, okay, have your drug, have it before. At least you get a buzz from it and get that adrenaline spike. But having an adrenaline spike after training when your body's trying to wind down, it's like, it makes no sense. And it's a massive, massive, massive mistake for anyone who wants to get fitter. And it is impossible, in my experience, to get fitter, your fittest, if you're going to be taking stimulants each week. Unless, if you're going to do that, then you have to start doing other drugs, the hormones, the corticosteroids, the aspirin puffers and stuff like that, because that stimulant's going to drop you down, your adrenal function, etc., cortisol, so then you need to supplement with the other ones. All right? So as soon as you start to add one drug in consistently, then everything starts to cascade around. All right? So be careful with that. So that's why you see a lot of pro athletes can drink 7 cups of coffee a day and get away with it, but that's because they're doing cortisone, they're doing hormones, they're doing probably EPO, doing all these other things to balance that out, and they're fucked by the time they're 40. They're just fucked all the time they're 45 or 50 or even earlier. You know, I see people burn out in their 20s. You know, it's insane. So anyway, if you really want to have best performance, don't use caffeine on a regular basis. Have it occasionally, and if you're going to have it, then you need to have it in events that actually matters. A time trial caffeine doesn't really help. When it helps is really sleep deprivation, like 24-hour races. That's when it really, really helps those stimulants. Otherwise, just use music. Music is the best drug. It doesn't have any come down. It's just the best, And if you're going to use music on your bike, if you're going to use your earphones, be very, very mindful of what's around you. Better yet, get one of those little Bluetooth speakers and use that. So that's my thoughts on caffeine. I've done many videos in this one, but I do not coach anyone who's going to be using caffeine because I know that they're going to burn out, and I don't want people blaming me for getting burnt out. So if you're getting coached by a Durianrider, it has to be stim free, Or if you're going to use stims, it has to be my supervision, Dr. Durianrider. Otherwise, it's just too easy for people to get into like a bad routine with them, and I see it all the time. I've been doing bunch rides on the bike since. First bunch ride was, I think it was 1997. Yeah. Started racing criteriums in 97. And just observing the burnout and the fatigue and the crashes and people being under CARB, not paying attention, and breaking legs and smashing up faces. I remember one girl, her name was Amber, had a massive crash in a criterium, head hit a bit of concrete, and I'm not sure what's happened to her now. I hope she's okay, but it was pretty horrific. And I know that ended her cycling, like that. Ended her cycling. So yeah, anyway. Caffeine is, it does have its place. Occasional usage, potentially, yeah, definitely. Stims to have their occasional use, I believe. If you can use them never, then good for you, do that. That's definitely probably a goal for most people. I remember I was stim free from, 2003 through to maybe 2014, so almost 9 years, no stims. And it helped me a lot. That's probably why I'm so fit now. So in 1990, so let's be specific with dates. 1999, October, I had my last coffee, and then I had no stims, other than maybe a little bit of vegan chocolate here and there, which in small amounts I don't really find as too stimulating. In large amounts, definitely I feel mood's not so good next day. And then 2003, I remember I was racing in Belgium, had an iced tea at my team owner's house. Gave me an iced tea, and I was buzzing on that. I was like, oh, here we go, caffeine again. And then so 2003 through to 2005. There was like a bit of cacao going around there, the raw food chocolate sort of world. Happened a bit of that occasionally, but still small dosages because the next day I'd feel pretty cooked. And then caffeine pills, reintroduced those in, when was that? The last time I'd used them was in a race in 2000. And I just did my 24-hour races, no stims. Did Paris-Brest Paris, no stims, which was my greatest ever effort, no stims. 1,243 Ks. In 51 hours 30, no stims, no 30 minutes sleep, 40 minutes sleep. And then 2015 did those Ritalin experiments, and in my opinion, the Ritalin's far safer than caffeine, which flies against most people's mentality. But I would say caffeine is more addictive than that stuff, because it's more socially accepted. It's encouraged. Like, people say, I get asked all the time, do you want a coffee? Do you want a coffee? Do you want a coffee? My grandma used to go, do you want a coffee? Do you want a coffee? Go to the cafe the other day, people, I'll get you coffee, Harley. So I'm like, thanks anyway. Do you want a coffee? Go to certain places in Thailand here, do you want a tea? Do you want a coffee? It's just given out, just poof, poof, poof. So people just get really, really addicted to it really quickly. Anything that's socially encouraged is going to be quite a dangerous drug. So that'd be my experiences. So I can really speak from personal experiences being on stims and off stims. My mood's a lot better off any sort of caffeine derivative. I find the next day I'm a bit like, a bit more of a sookie or moping around. It's not really conducive to who I want to be all the time. So there you go. That's my little caffeine experiences, stimulant experiences, from caffeine to prescription meds to amphetamines, methamphetamines back in the 90s, things like that. And just seeing how destructive they can be, but also how they can be beneficial for some people in really, really, really small dosages, especially the person who control their diet, mindset, lifestyle, etc. Then there's maybe a place for that. When you're peaking and you want to go a little bit extra couple of percent, then there's a place for that. Otherwise, be really responsible with any drug usage and keep things in check. And if someone tells you you've got a problem, then you've got a fucking problem and you should do something about it. So I was just talking to Natasha then. I thought I'd do a conclusion. My definition of stimulant means any caffeine, cacao, coca, prescription, pharmaceutical, street stimulant. That's about it. Just chemicals, central neurostimulators or dopamine, anything like that. Anything that gives you that bzz, that buzz for whatever reason, that's a stimulant. Now, if you have a family member or a friend or anyone who's had an eating disorder or currently suffering from eating disorder, or maybe you don't know they've got an eating disorder, but they're really skinny, then the chances are there's some disordered eating or an eating disorder going on. So you want to be really mindful of watching what that person intakes in terms of stimulants, and never ever ever offer any sort of stimulant to someone who's underweight, especially if you're just their buddy or their mate, or making it, hey man, have a pill or have a coffee, or, that's really sincere maybe in some cases, but really sincerely wrong, because you're not there for that person 24/7. Like if you're there for someone 24/7, then there's maybe a place for that. Just like alcohol, if your girlfriend or boyfriend's never drunk before, and you got to get them drunk, at home, safe environment, yeah, for sure. Versus you go and meet someone out in the street and say, hey, you've never been drunk before, have a few beers, and then you leave them, and then it's like on their own accord. Like, what? That's not responsible. So if anyone's got any EDs, then they should never take stims for years afterwards, in my opinion, because it's so easy for them to slip back into that. If someone's obese, on the flip side, if someone's obese, then they can handle, in my experience, a lot more stimulants, because they've got a lot more calories in their body. Their body's got a lot more strength. A fat person, obese person, will last in the desert a lot longer than a skinny person. Even someone like me, I'd die before an obese person would. So my adrenal, they're very, very sensitive. My body was running really, really efficiently. Just a micro amount of stims, I could feel it. Just a few milligrams, I can get a buzz from that. So, which is good, because then you're not really burdening your adrenals with high dosages. And it's high dosages plus high frequencies that fuck people up. Just like alcohol, high dosage, high frequency will fuck you up. It'll be a protoplasmic poison, it'll decrease your red blood cell count, it won't be positive for you. Personally, I don't drink alcohol. I haven't drunk alcohol since 2001, apart from sipping people's drinks for taste. But in terms of swallowing, I haven't swallowed alcohol since 2001. No, I spit, I don't swallow, especially on the first date. So anyway, that's my take on alcohol, which I'll do another video on that. And caffeine is just be really, really responsible with it. And any stimulant, just be, we're adults now. All right. Hopefully we're adults watching this, and we want to be caring for people around us and setting a good example, not being too hypocritical, which is so easy to do. So hopefully that answers the questions. If you know someone with any depression or any mental health issues, take them off the fucking stims. Most people's depression, most of it is going to be triggered by stimulants, which cause you to eat less. Then you have serotonin and dopamine, and then you're on the prescription meds, and you feel shit, you feel tired, so then you need more caffeine, and it cycles and cycles. And the only people laughing is the pharmaceutical companies. My daughter's sad, and my husband's sad, my son is sad. Send them to the fucking quacks, give them fucking these SSRI medications. They feel lowered, they need some stims to wake up, and then boom, it just chews into the adrenal cortex or the hypothalamus, gonadal axis, the HPG axis, and everything's just cascading down. And then before you know it, the person was bright, happy, vigorous, vital, fit, and now just getting Cushing's disease and just blowing up. So there you go. That's the conclusion. Less is more when it comes to stims.